What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more r/AmITheButtHole. If you're new to the channel and you love a Reddit story, don't forget to click that subscribe button, maybe that notification bell too if you'd like to be notified. And just some quick thank yous to some new members, some rejoins and all that kind of thing. Starting off with a very cheeky Claire Fisher, Am0321, Original Content, HRH Shans Don't Care, Annie Lucy, Katie Brown, Amber Bissell, and Edward Larson. And on Patreon, Mickey A. Storm and Diamond. Thank you so much for your love, your support, and your time to every single one of you. It's absolutely amazing. And let's crack on with today's stories. Buzzing. Now, I'm pretty excited for our first story because it does come with an update, and I remember this story because it was a bit of a roller coaster of emotions, maybe happy then sad, but now we have an update on it as well. So I'm going to read the story first, then we're going to go on to the update after. As always, use the timestamps if you feel you need to use them, but it's from Am I the Arsehole Dancing Half Naked? Am I the arsehole for dancing half naked in my living room, leading to my boyfriend and his family seeing me? ETA, Nate's family, is also really conservative and he was brought up like that as well. Someone mentioned I should have added this in. Also, I'm from the US since a lot of people asked. This is so embarrassing, but I can't take it anymore. I have to know if I'm in the wrong here. I need to apologize if so. I, 21 female, was told by my boyfriend Nate, 26 male, that I'd get the house to myself for the weekend. He said he had to go visit his parents to take care of a property related issue. I was pretty excited to have the house to myself because I've been living with Nate since I was 19 and I missed living alone, though Nate is the love of my life and in no way a trouble to live with. I had this tradition of spending a lot of my weekends baking while in my lingerie. I don't know, it makes me feel super pretty. Yes, I know it's stupid, but it makes me stupid happy. With music and dancing. Super embarrassing to admit, but I also do silly things like pretending like I'm a Victoria's model or a singer and I sing along loudly. I mention this because this means the house is usually a mess. My dresses are all over and the music is super loud, which is obviously not okay. Hadn't done that in a long time because Nate hates loud music and he's not a fan of my cupcakes, so I decided to do it this weekend. So it's Sunday and I put on What a Feeling by One Direction and it's super loud. I'm only wearing lingerie, the Victoria's kind, so lacy as fuck, which I regret looking back. My boyfriend used his key to open the door and I didn't hear him come in because, like I said, it's loud in the house and I'm also in the kitchen/living room area. Apparently he wanted to surprise me. Nate brought his mum, dad and his sister's 2 kids, only like 10 male I think. They come in and there I am, frozen in a dance pose like an idiot. I quickly ran to our room yelling sorry, wasn't expecting anyone, and was putting on clothes when Nate came in. He was so angry. He said I was acting like a child and that I embarrassed him. His parents wanted Nate to drop them back ASAP, refusing to stay, and his mum called me a lot of names and said the kids have seen everything and made me feel guilty as fuck. Here's where I'm losing sleep over this. On one hand, I didn't know they would come. I locked the door too, so I feel like I didn't do anything wrong. I planned on cleaning up my mess before Nate came home too. Also, Nate and his mum insulted me a lot. But when you look at it from their perspective, I was behaving like an immature person. The house was a mess, I looked a mess. There was baking supplies scattered. Nate just wanted to surprise me and do something nice. Nate is still not completely talking to me. I don't know how to face his family, and I also know his sister told him to make me behave or something. So I feel like I should apologize before things get worse, but I can't decide for sure if I'm in the wrong here. So I need your help. Thank you for reading. And again, I remember in the last post, for the last time we read that, and I remember thinking about, yes, that person is enjoying their life and, you know, getting in their drawers and doing some baking and singing really loudly. They're just enjoying their life the way they want to, and I thought that was absolutely amazing. And then Nate, the douchebag, comes in and puts a dampener on the whole thing and gets really upset when, how was OP meant to know that he was turned up anyway? There was no signs of it and it was meant to be a surprise. I don't know how mother-in-law and father-in-law and 2 kids is a bloody surprise anyway. And then it got even deeper for me and I thought, why haven't you been doing this all this time? Because Nate doesn't want you to. And you've been holding this back all this time just because you're worried about what Nate might think. And I thought, that's not the way I'd want to live my life. If I wanted to do something like that, I wanted to get in my drawers and walk around, which I sometimes do. Who doesn't, right? The freedom. Then you should be able to do that without being judged by your partner. This is your partner, someone who's meant to love you for you. And it had me with many questions. Anyway, we'll cover a couple of comments and then we'll move on to the update. Let's hope for something positive there. I don't know how it's going to happen though. Tonka says, not the arsehole. You should never be embarrassed for dancing like an idiot to a song you like. Who cares that you were in underwear? No one was at home at the time. Oh, and giving you the silent treatment is a huge red flag. It's emotional abuse. Tomboy Barbie says to that, Nate is just a bunch of red flags wearing a human skin suit, okay? Throughout your post you talk about how pretty this makes you feel. How stupid happy you are while doing it, all while apparently feeling ashamed of how wrong and immature it is. He has made you feel as though something that makes you happy and is totally harmless is something to be ashamed of. A partner that insults you and makes you feel ashamed of yourself is not a partner. Hotela says, not the arsehole. Nate is a total arsehole here. He tells you that you will have the apartment to yourself and then decides to surprise you. With what exactly? A visit from his family. Wow, what a great surprise. He has no right to be upset at you. You didn't know anyone was going to be home. He also has no right to insult you. Never in a relationship should your significant other insult you. And one more from Fox Unicar Kilo who says, wait, your boyfriend is angry at you because he walked in on you. Am I tracking this correctly? No, not the arsehole. You are allowed to do what you want in your house. Why would he even bring people by without giving a heads up anyways? That's just so weird. And please don't get me started on mum. She's off her rocker. You don't get to insult someone in their home. Don't want to show? Send a text before just walking in. There's so much audacity here, I just don't even know. What I do know is you owe nobody an apology and you did nothing wrong. They owe you many. Their behavior was completely and utterly unacceptable and you need to sit down and really evaluate and see what is happening here. This is in no way this is normal, acceptable or even reasonable response to their error. Right, here we go. Update. Brace yourself. ETA, I made cupcakes using some tips you guys gave me and oh my god, it was so much better. Not as dry as they were before. Thank you. That's not the full update. I saw a lot of messages and comments wanting an update, so here it is. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your message. There were so many of them, so I thought I'd make a post instead. I got a little overwhelmed. After reading what everyone wrote, I quickly realised that what Nate did was so wrong. A lot of great mums in the comments also helped me understand the fact that even conservative mums, like Nate, wouldn't react so rudely. It hit me like a wave when I realised what my life had come to. I didn't say anything to Nate about the post, but he must have figured out that I was upset at him. I was doubting our relationship and pulling away from him. He started talking to me again and for a day I didn't really say anything, but I knew I had some decisions to make. I genuinely didn't believe I would get so many responses telling me I was not the arsehole, so this was eye-opening for me. So a few days after I made the post, I told Nate that we needed to talk. I said that I would be staying with my friend until I felt comfortable around him. He didn't know what I was referring to, which just made me angry because how he can forget a fight that big, and I told him that I was upset with how he treated me after a whole "your family walking in on me" incident. I also mentioned how I shouldn't have to wait for him to be away to dance, bake, or listen to One Direction just because he doesn't like it. He tried convincing me to stay, but I left. I think he knew I wouldn't let this go like other things. Thanks to you guys. Yesterday, I asked him to meet me at a cafe so we could have a conversation about everything that happened. Nate cried, like for the first time ever since I have known him. He apologized, told me he messed up and that he would change because he realized his mistakes now. I told him I wanted to move out and maybe after a while, if he does actually change, I'll give us another chance. I just needed some space to think about things, and so I told him we should take a break from each other for a while. Nate told me that he would talk to his mum as well and that he should have defended me, to which I said yes, you should have. I actually borrowed direct sentences to explain why he was in the wrong from some comments you guys left because it was so helpful. It went better than how I imagined it would go. Also, thank you. Thank you doesn't even begin to cover what I really want to say to everyone who helped me, and also to the mods who removed a lot of creepy comments. Thanks for sharing stories about dancing in your underwear as well. It made me feel better to know I wasn't some freak for enjoying those things. I'm going to use those baking tips you guys gave me and make cupcakes right now, actually because I can. I feel so relieved. God, little things set me off these days. Someone I'm grinning right now because I think that's an incredibly positive post. Someone who's seen this at their own self-worth, not embarrassed to dance like an idiot, like we love to do, like many of us love to do. I do it all the time as well. Yesterday, I took my arms behind my legs, grabbed my ankles, and bounced around pretending to be a Goomba from Mario. I don't know why I did it. I'm crazy, but I love it. And I think this is just an incredible post. But what do you guys make of this one? This has started my day on the right foot. Let me know about you, and we'll move on to the next story. Now, our next story comes from Boring Exit 9303. Am I the arsehole for suing a girl who stole my dog because she thought I was mistreating him? And we're starting off with a pet tax, so let's take a look. Oh my god, majestic. A lovely dog. I don't speak English very fluently, so I apologize if what I wrote is confusing. My dog's Maximo Tiberio is a rescue dog. He has a lot of aggression problems. As a result, his vet recommended training him with a muzzle. The muzzle that my dog wears is totally comfortable for him. It doesn't hurt him or anything. So far, we had very good results. I take my dog to a dog park every Monday along with my 11-year-old daughter. I took my dog to the dog park like I normally do. He was wearing the muzzle. I keep an eye on him, checking for the signs of trouble. Suddenly, I hear a girl cry, and my daughter is out of my field of vision, so I get worried. I tie Maximo up in an area specifically designated for that purpose, and I move no more than 15 meters away from him to search for my daughter. I find her. It was not her who was crying, and when I return for Maximo, I see this girl running towards him. She takes him in her arms and runs back to the car. Max is visibly stressed, but because the muzzle, he can't do anything. The park was almost empty, so there was no one around to stop her, and I couldn't reach her, but I took a picture of her license plate. I went to the police station. There they identified the owner of the car and sent a patrol to look for my dog. A day later, the police returns with a girl and Maximo, who was in a deplorable state, very nervous and anxious. There the girl explains to me that she took Maximo because she thinks I am abusing him and that she watches every Monday how he uses a muzzle against his will. Regardless of her reasoning, no matter how noble she is, I decided that I would sue her anyway. The stress I felt, along with the state Maximo returned, is a reason enough to sue her. My sister has another opinion. She says that I'm being a horrible person for suing someone that thought she was doing the right thing, and that the girl took a risk to save a dog that she believed was being abused, and that's admirable. Some of my friends agree with her. I still want to sue her, but I would like other perspective to see if I'm in the wrong. And there was a little edit which said I meant pressing charges, not sue. Sorry for my wording mistake. So she assumed this dog was wearing a muzzle against its will, stole your dog, and went off with it. And then your sister comes out with a bullshit that she's doing the right thing. I mean, sure, her heart may be in the right place thinking, she's saving a dog. I guess. Really stretching this one here. But just grabbing someone's dog and running off with it is not the right way to go about it, is it? She didn't know the situation, just grabbed the dog and absolutely ran. And would your sister be of the same mindset if you didn't get the license plate number and the dog was just missing indefinitely? The dog was actually stolen, gone. Would your sister still think the same way then? This is a simple lesson of consequences for actions, but Hal Beaver says, not the arsehole, there are plenty of dogs out there in need of a loving home. Yours isn't one of them. No matter how well-intentioned her reasoning was, she tried to steal your dog. If I were you, I'd pursue criminal charges if possible. Epic dog name, by the way, and I may have pronounced it wrong many a time, so I do apologise for that. Maybe a walrus says, not the arsehole, this girl stole your dog. The pathetic I wanted to save him is just a silly excuse to avoid being sued. If she wanted to save him, she could have called animal services. I don't know where you live, but I hope that you are considering pressing charges too. What she did was a criminal offence. LK Winchester says, the girl explains to me that she took Maximo because she thinks I'm abusing him and that she watches every Monday how he uses a muzzle against his will. Not for her to simply decide rather than having a conversation with you, the dog owner. Sue her, not the arsehole. The Empress is in says, not the arsehole. People like this need to be sued so they know there are consequences when they attempt vigilantism. And we have one more from the Riker Maneuver who says, she didn't think she was doing the right thing. She deluded herself into thinking she was doing the right thing based on casual observations made at a distance. If she was worried about the animal, there are rescues and government offices you can contact to report animal abuse, sort of like involving CPS if you suspect child abuse. She didn't do that though. She made an assumption and stole the dog based on that false assumption. She absolutely needs to feel the full weight of the consequences of her decision, because at the end of the day, stealing a dog, even for the right reasons, is still theft. Not the arsehole. Now, what do you guys think of OP's decision in this? Do you think that they should press charges or not? Is there any argument you could come up for the person who actually did steal the dog? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll move on to another story. And we have another dog story from Catclaw1815, who says, "Am I the arsehole for getting rid of my partner's dog? I've never liked dogs. I think they're loud and annoying. However, when I met my SO, I was willing to put these feelings aside since they had an elderly pup. We moved in together a little under a year ago, and I brought my cat. We had both agreed that we wouldn't get any pets after our animals passed. Unfortunately, their dog passed away about a month ago. Cut to about 2 weeks ago, and my partner decides to get a new puppy without letting me know. Apparently it's a German Shepherd Pug mix that I found on Craigslist. I was furious and told them that I didn't want another dog in our house. They told me it was unfair that I still had my cat and that they were lonely maybe? They then told me that they couldn't return it, so it would just have to stay. After contacting the seller myself and being told the same thing, I finally relented. I hated this dog. It was loud, untrained, and constantly made messes. My partner did try their best to train it, but I didn't see much progress. I finally had enough after coming home, only to see the dog ripping my stuffed Care Bear to shreds. I've had it ever since I was little, and despite how immature it sounds, I have trouble sleeping without it close by. I was furious. Here's where I think I may be the arsehole. I contacted a few friends and co-workers and eventually found someone who would take it. I loaded it up in my car with its cage, bowls, toys, and other accessories and dropped it off at this person's house. I did feel guilty, but I just wanted the dog gone. My partner found out and was livid. They told me it was their dog and I had no right to do this. I fired back that my name is on the lease and I could do what I want. They stormed out, I'm guessing to get the dog back, and I'm sitting here now feeling extremely guilty. On one hand, I think what I did was justified since I never had a choice in the matter, but on the other hand, I realized that they did pay for everything and that I need to make compromises in the relationship. Am I the arsehole? Now, we started off at the very start where OP said they don't want any more pets in the house after, their pets pass away. Dog passes away, partner gets a new pet without OP knowing about it. That automatically makes the other person the arsehole instantly without discussing it. You're meant to be in a relationship, you should be able to discuss these things, and bringing a pet into the house without both of you being on board is an arsehole thing to do. Should have put your foot down right there and then. But you didn't, and you said you relented and allowed it to carry on. But then you started getting upset that the dog is making a mess and is, untrained. After a couple of weeks, a dog isn't going to be trained that quickly, and you should know that yourself being a pet owner. Then your bear got tore up, which I have empathy for. Lots of people have blankets or, teddies that are close to them that help them sleep, and there's nothing wrong with that. We've covered stories about that in the past. But then, and you said where I think I may be the arsehole, and I'm afraid you are going to be to me, you just took the dog and just gave it to a friend without talking to your partner again, which is gonna, just from the lack of communication from both of you, it's gonna make you the arsehole, and treating the dog this way as well. It's not fair on the animal, and I do question your relationship when you can't talk to each other about these matters on like a level playing field and be responsible about it. So yes, you're going to be the arsehole. So it's gonna be an everyone sucks here for me. But Essex Catwoman says everyone sucks here. You both acted unilaterally, and it sounds like no one here is truly a good animal parent in doing so. Disgruntled Bunny says everyone sucks here. You guys don't have a dog problem, you have a relationship problem. Crazy L says you were lied to and taken advantage of. They did something that affected you both without asking. Then you responded by breaking their trust. News for you, there is no relationship here. There is the tiniest chance you could salvage this situation with honesty, communication, and some professional counseling, but neither of you seem like adults, nor particularly good at relationships. A partnership is part listening, learning, caring, taking, and giving. What you just described is a bad roommates with benefit situation. You should feel bad. They should feel bad. Let me spell it out. Everyone sucks here. Miss Ma'am the second says everyone sucks here, you agreed on no pets and your partner broke that promise, I get it. But you, my guy, you expect to see results for training after a mere 2 weeks. Are you dense? It takes months, if not years, to properly train a dog, and I'm sorry about your Care Bear, but accidents happen with puppies. Going behind your SO's back to get rid of the dog instead of having an adult sit-down conversation with your partner makes you worse than they are. You think that puppy knows what's going on? Just break up. You all clearly don't see eye to eye and are too immature to fucking communicate. And we'll finish off with Wanderlust Bun, who says, everyone sucks here. Just break up. Now, what do you guys make of this one? A German Shepherd crossed with a pug. I was like, what the hell? Never heard of that before. But let me know your thoughts and we'll move on to the next story. And our next story comes from a throwaway account titled, Am I the Arsehole for ruining my wife's dreams of becoming a stay-at-home mum? My wife and I have been married for 2 years and now she is around 2 months pregnant, which we are really excited about. Recently we have been talking about our work/home situation once the baby is born. We've already discussed that she takes the first 3 months off to heal and get used to everything and she really wants that. Now yesterday she told me that she really wants to be a stay-at-home mum. She hasn't mentioned this before. Right now we are financially quite comfortable with me working 5 days, 1 on Saturday, and my wife 4, and both of us liking our jobs fine. Her quitting will put strain on us financially. I asked her why, and she said she would of course like to spend as much time possible with our child, and that she doesn't like the idea of daycare. They would not be able to take care of them as well as we could. I offered that maybe she could work too. I remain at 5 and our kids spend 1 day a week at their grandparents, who would love that. This would mean that we would still be comfortable with our finances. We both, but mostly she, get to spend time with our kid and they didn't have to go to daycare. She became frustrated and said that no, she just wanted to be there all the time and if necessary we use our savings or I could work more. I then got a little frustrated and said, not angry but a bit firm, that was not going to happen. She then became angry and screamed at me that I was ruining her dreams of becoming a stay-at-home mum and stormed off. Now in the days afterwards she says she doesn't want to talk about it unless I've changed my mind. Am I the arsehole here and should I be more open to what she apparently really wants? Edit, because I see a lot of comments about this. Right now working 4 days she makes quite a bit more than what the daycare would cost. I suggested she keep working 2 days because then we'd have the financial support of what she would make without our child having to go to daycare. Of those 2 days, our child would spend 1 with me as I have a weekday off because I work on Saturday, and 1 day with grandparents. Edit 2, about those 3 months. That is the case because if she would be gone from work longer, it would be harder to get back into. She herself mentioned this. Now I thought you'd come up with some pretty good solutions in this that offered a good compromise, She's just working 2 days and she still gets, to spend quite a bit of time with child. The grandparents get to see the child as well, which is not only good for the grandparents, it's good for the child as well. And your finances will stay somewhat balanced. And for her to be saying things, we could just use our savings, which is pretty irresponsible, or saying that you could work more so you spend less time with a child. I don't understand how that's meant to be fair. And let's not forget, this was sprung up on you last minute. This apparently to her, this is a dream of hers that you've only just discovered. I mean, yeah, you're not the arsehole to me in this situation. I think you compromised very well in it, so I'm not going to call you the arsehole for it either. But Shadow says not the arsehole. If she never mentioned it before, especially. This is something that should have been a conversation long before becoming pregnant though. Moon Girl says not the arsehole. She sprung this on you and you offered a completely reasonable compromise, to which MM Periwinkle says, if she thinks she can just live drawing from savings for daily expenses, she's not even making logical sense. She's clearly lost her reason. Not the arsehole, wife needs a reality check, but good luck with that. Probably everyone in your life is going to side with her. No take backsies on having the kid now, so get used to whatever she wants, bud. Nobody is going to side with the guy who wants to keep mum away from her first kid. You just become an ATM with no relaxation time. Geo says not the arsehole, if your finances just don't allow for it, then what is she going to do? Make you get a second job, completely burn you out? Having a kid is expensive as fuck. Your wife seems to be very unreasonable with a unilateral decision to become a stay-at-home mum. The compromise you suggested was very reasonable and definitely not worth a temper tantrum. And one more from Specific Progress who says not the arsehole, I think you offered up a very reasonable solution. Give your wife some time, her hormones and the baby growing is putting an enormous strain on her body. She's probably exhausted and a little bit scared of all the changes happening with her. Speaking from experience, it's hard for a mum to go back to work after having a baby. The separation anxiety is through the roof. Having grandparents caring for your baby like I did makes it easier. Be patient. You can talk about it again in 3 or 4 months. Hang in there, give her extra love and attention. Don't get alarmed when TV commercials make her bawl like a baby. Take as many long weekends away as possible. Tell her she's beautiful. Never point out her weight gain or swollen feet. Bring home little surprises for her. Even if it may not be your thing, take an interest in baby clothes, supplies and furniture. Pregnancy is an emotional and physical roller coaster. Hold each other right and enjoy the ride. Congratulations to you both. Now, what do you guys make of this one? What are your thoughts on this story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to another one. And we're going to finish with the last one from our very own subreddit, r/Mark Narrations. Come over there, post your own stories and get involved. And this one's from Comfortable Pudding 51, titled, "Would I be the arsehole for removing all of my belongings from the living space so my roommate can't use them?" Okay, so this is a long story with a lot of different aspects that accumulated over months for me to even think about this. So let me start with some background info. My roommate, 20 female, and I, 21 female, met at work over a year ago and quickly became friends. I was about to move out when she told me about the issues she was having by living with her mum and her mum's boyfriend. It was making her upset to the point she was losing weight fast and crying almost every time we spoke. So I offered her to live with me. I purchased all of the necessary items like plates, silverware, pots, pans, cleaning supplies, a vacuum, couches, tools, etc. It honestly put me back about 3 to 4k, but I have saved for it so it wasn't an issue. We agreed up front to split groceries so it's easier on both of us. Our combined bill would range from $100 to $180, so it seemed like the best option on both of our wallets. Well, here starts the issues. She purchased a Swiffer wet jet and some extra cleaning supplies midweek before our grocery run and told me she wouldn't be splitting the groceries that week because of it. I protested, but she went on a tirade of all things she bought and said she hates people who are stingy like that. I was annoyed but brushed it off. Over the next couple of months, she stopped bringing her wallet completely and would either forget to send me half, I would have to ask several times. I hate doing that. Or she would say, "I'll pay you Friday when I get paid," then never pay me. I again brushed this off, not wanting to be stingy. Over the last month, several things pushed me to a boiling point. Firstly, she makes a lot of comments on how she doesn't care to talk about issues I may have, yet when she needs a shoulder to cry on, I'm there. Secondly, she said she didn't have money to pay me for groceries, yet spent $70 on lingerie, $50 at CVS and $50 on a cheesecake the following days. The last straw was when she said, if my skin looked like that, I would cry myself to sleep. I have an autoimmune disease and it makes my skin look translucent at times. That was it. I went into a downward spiral thinking of all the times I was there for her when she was crying needing advice. Let her use my car when she needed, let her borrow outfits. This is what I get in return. Insults and bullshit excuses on how she doesn't have money. Well, when her boyfriend was staying for the weekend, I did something petty that I shouldn't have. I hid the food I intended on eating the next day. There wasn't enough slices for her, her boyfriend and me. She didn't pay for it at the time, so I hid it. Hindsight, I should have just messaged her, but she is someone you walk on eggshells around when it comes to any type of conflict. I'm basing that on previous conflicts we had. Well, this caused her to storm out. When her boyfriend left, we discussed our issues with each other and I honestly thought that conversation went well. We both apologized and thought we'd moved on. Well, I guess not. She bought a lock for her door, one where you have to have a key to enter. Took half the food and put it in a mini fridge. Took some cleaning supplies and the laundry detergent so I couldn't wash my clothes. I asked why, and she said, I can be a real petty bitch. I'll just keep everything I paid for then. This left me dumbfounded, considering I own 98% of everything in this apartment and she still uses it. She still asked me to use my car, borrow my clothes, still eats the food I buy for myself. She has access to everything I own. I just don't have access to the few things she bought. So I'm thinking, would I be the arsehole if I took everything I paid for and put it in my closet to prove a point? This means no pots, pans, silverware, cups, plates, spices, coffee machine, the other half of the cleaning supplies, vacuum, broom and dustpan, TV, chairs. I'm talking everything. This apartment will be barren. My first concern though, when you said you was going to be taking like all the cleaning supplies and the hoover and stuff, is that she won't be able to hoover and do half the cleaning if you do that. So in some ways it would be shooting yourself in the foot. Not that you shouldn't do it or anything, because I'd be doing the same thing as well. I suppose if there's nothing on the floor anywhere, cleaning would be a piece of piss anyway. But there's no way you would be the arsehole in this situation. This person is taking advantage of your kindness. And the fact that she actually said to you, I can be a really, really petty bitch, and then put all the stuff away like laundry detergent and stuff like that. And it's a simple case of that she needs to learn that there's consequences for her actions. And will she learn from this though is what I'm questioning. Or is this going to get to the point where you just can't live together anymore? I mean, could you afford to live solo if you really wanted to? That'd be a very interesting thing. Imagine moving out, what she would have if you just moved out. I like that idea. But that's petty me talking as well. But Jenny Lynn 1977 says, oh wait, she said I can be a real petty bitch. I'll just keep everything I paid for then. You would so not be the arsehole if you took everything and put it where she can't use it. Just make sure that when you do and she asks you what happened to everything, you can say, I can be a really, really petty bitch. So I decided to do what you did and put away everything that I paid for too. I can be really petty though. Don't let her use your car or borrow your clothes ever again if you decide not to put up everything that belongs to you. Perhaps you should look into moving somewhere else so you aren't living with someone who thinks they're entitled to stuff that's not theirs. Send in hugs and love your way. Again, not the arsehole. Veman says, you would not be the arsehole if you moved out all of a sudden without notifying her or moving everything into your own storage place. You need to move ASAP because it's not worth being stressed over. Plus, if you have to pay for everything now, would be the difference. And we have one more from Swampmeister who says, yeah, she is screwing you over. Don't let her guilt trip you about these petty purchases of hers. You done messed up about not having a better written agreement. So time for you to move out, or tell her to move out, or end this stupid and lopsided arrangement. You learned a lesson here. Roommates can and will bitch and be a pain in the ass. So how do you extract yourself from this? Firstly, write it down, dollars, receipts, budget, rent, etc. Then she pays half or takes a hike. And for the last resort, you leave and don't pay a dime to her. This is a tough spot, but you need to confront her and maintain your standards, decision, line of control. Good luck. Now, what do you guys make of this story? What do you make of all of today's stories? I would love to know your thoughts and comments down below. A huge thank you for spending 20 minutes of your time with me today. And if you haven't as yet, why not hit that subscribe button as well? Why, get involved. On the screen right now is a couple of playlists which will scroll through the videos for you so you don't have to click them one by one and all this kind of thing. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.